All right, so I want to introduce you guys to a couple of new tools. Now, some of these tools are not visible in the 3D Basics ribbon. Okay, they usually appear in the 3D Modeling ribbon, which is a more advanced ribbon, but we can still access some of these tools using the basic ribbon function. Okay, so first thing is going to be using the command Helix. All right, so if you type Helix, there we go, Helix, you see the Helix command comes up, and selecting the Helix command, it asks you to specify a center point of the base. All right, so this can be either a 2D command or a 3D command. All right, so specifying a center point, I'm going to left click, and then it says to specify the radius. Okay, I'm just going to make this real easy, 0.5 radius, and hit enter. From there, if you drag out your mouse, you can see that a spiral is coming, and if we read the prompt, it says specify the top radius. Okay, so this is an important function right here. Do we want this to be flat, like a spiral, or do we want this to be three-dimensional, like a helix? Okay, if we want this to be flat, then obviously my radius is going to be a lot wider. Okay, so I'm going to make this a radius of 2.0 and then hit enter. Okay, now it's asking me to specify the helix height. Well, if I don't want this to be in 3D, but I want this kind of to spiral in a two-dimensional plane, well, my height's going to be 0. So I'm going to type 0 and enter. Okay, that's the basics of creating a two-dimensional spiral. Now, if I put this on the proper layer, like the object layer, so that it's a continuous line, it's a little bit easier to see. And if I rotate my screen using the shift key and the middle mouse button, you can see it is indeed on a single plane. All right, from here, you can now add on a particular geometric shape that you can sweep along if you would like to. But I want to go through some of the other options for the Helix command. All right, so I'm going to change my layer to the object layer so I have a nice solid line next time I draw this. And I'm going to type in the Helix command again. Helix, hit enter. Specify my center point. Left click to do that. Drag it out. Specify my base radius as 0.5. Hit enter. And my top radius, I'm going to make it a little bit smaller. I'm going to make it 0.125. All right. And at this point, right, specifying the helix height, I can definitely control the height of it. However, if you look down at the command line, we have an axis endpoint. We have turns that we can control, the turning height or twisting. All right. So if you have a specific helical thread that you want to create, you have to know, how many turns or what the height of the turns are in between each thread point. Okay. A lot of this can be manipulated afterwards, but it's better if you do it all up front. So I'm going to say I want to control the amount of turns. Okay, so I'm going to hit T for turns and then enter. And enter the number of turns. By default, it's set to 3. I'm going to say 10. Hitting enter shows me a preview of what 10 turns would look like. Okay, and now I can specify a height if I want to, and I'm just going to say 3 inches. Hit enter. And now you've got yourself a helical cone. All right, again, if you look at that at 3D, you've got your helical cone. In the same manner, if you type helix again and do your base point as 0.5. Hit enter. And your top radius as 0.5. Enter. Right? So my bottom diameter, my top diameter are going to be exactly the same. Same thing here. I can kind of manipulate the turns or the turn height. All right. If we try turn height, that's going to be the letter H. Right? If you take a look down in your command line, H is blue, and it's also the letter that's capitalized, which means that's the shortcut for the command. So H, enter. Specify the distance between the turns. Right now it's set to 0.3. Okay, so if I change this to quarter inch, 0.25, hit enter. So now I have at least a quarter inch, and then moving my mouse up and down allows me to control how many coils or how many rings I have. Okay, so I'm going to change this to 4 inches of height. All right, so this is using the same command in 3 ways. Same command in 3 ways. All right, and if you want to draw little profiles, you can draw little profiles. I'm going to draw a little circle here, hit the space bar, draw one there, space bar again to draw another circle, and draw one there. So now I have a profile for each, bless you, for each path. All right, using the sweep tool, click on my profile, hit enter, click on my path. Okay, again, it looks a little funky here because my visualization style is in 2D. Okay, so I need to change that to conceptual or realistic, and then you'll get the full effect. So one more time, sweep feature, left click on my profile, hit enter, left click my path. Last time, hit the sweep feature, click on my profile, hit enter, click on my path. That one took a little bit of time to think, but it's there. So, all right, I'm going to undo one of these. Yeah, if you have a feature that is this large, there is no way that this will have clearance going around the coil. Okay, it's impossible. Sweep, profile, hit enter. Unable to sweep one selected object. Why? Because it's not small enough. All right, so the path, the profile has to be small enough to fit in between here. There has to be clearance. If there's no clearance, it's going to give you an intersection issue. Sweep, profile, enter, path, and it should pop up. There you go.